Here we go. Rise and shine, beloved. Great grand rising. Come on in, guys. Come on in. We are here. Let me pull you guys up on Facebook and we're going to be ready to go. You know what we do over here in the spiritual success community. We're going to activate the success mind. So, with that being said, come on, let's take a good healing deep breath in as we sit with our feet flat, back straight. Let me scoot out a little bit. Feet flat, back straight. Hand on heart to send a message to the nervous system, the subconscious mind. We are ready to calm down. Healing deep breath in and exhale. We bring ourselves present right here, right now, to this sacred moment that we've never been in before. We want to sit fully and completely consciously aware of the divine, sacred, present moment. Deep breath in. Exhale. Turn the focus and attention inward to the rich inner life of the kingdom of God within, the universe within, where there is infinite potential, possibility, power, insight, wisdom, joy, peace, love, happiness. It is all within, and it is an infinite reservoir. Deep breath in and exhale. We're so thankful and grateful that we are here. We take nothing for granted. We thank you that this atmosphere is charged and filled with glory, with anointing, with power, and with grace. All right, come on in, beloved. Give me a great grand rising. Let me know that you're here. Right, excuse me, great grand rising. Let me know that you are here. All right. Let's see who's here. Let me see. Let me get these comments. Grand Rising, Reese, thanks for joining us live. All right, here we go, guys. We are here, and I'm so thankful and grateful that we get to come here on YouTube. Let me see, you guys. I have to kind of switch back and forth between YouTube and Facebook to see the comments. All right. All right, so we're here today, and what I want to talk to you about, we've been talking about shifting the last few weeks and about how to discover or unlock the keys to be able to shift your reality. And so today, I want to continue with that thought, but when I send the email to the general community, I said this. I want to encourage you, beloved, that you're not stuck. It's just an illusion. So this is the email that I wrote. It says this, and I'm just going to look at the email, right? I know life can be challenging at times. And when you're faced with navigating through difficult times, sometimes alone, life can seem unfair. Can you talk back to me? I know we've all been there. You may feel yourself being pulled in several directions, and it feels like you're spinning out of control. Before you know it, you've returned to an old familiar place, what we call stuck, right? And so we talked last week, Grand Rising, Brian, thanks for joining us live. We talked last week about how it's the disease of turning back that kills people. And so many times as you're navigating through life, trust me when I tell you, everyone goes through this because life is not linear. That is the trick of the ego mind to want you to think that life is linear, that you're just going to keep going in a straight line, you know, A, B, C, D, all the way down the line. But life is more like this, and really it's more like this until you learn how to take advantage of a cyclical cycle, right? And how to shift it and create a new timeline. You know, I don't watch a lot of American television. You all know I'm a big fan of Turkish television, right? I'll be reading subtitles for days. But I saw something that piqued my interest, and I said, you know, I really want to see that. Of course, there's a million streaming services, you know, and I don't want to get a streaming service just to watch this, but it was on Apple TV Plus, and it was called Dark Matter. And it has all the theme and storyline that we talk about. Is talking about alternate realities, alternate timelines, multiple versions of yourself. And it was just intriguing. And I was like, you know what? I want to see that. It doesn't stream until May 8th. So if any of you all get a chance to look at that, if that kind of storyline intrigues you, Dark Matter is coming up May 8th. I said all that to say this, beloved. The more you get to know yourself, you know my saying, the more you know God. And the more you know God, the more you're going to know yourself. When you come into divine awareness, which is always the first step on our spiritual success life path, you know, there are 9 dimensions that we travel through every year. Each dimension have at least 7 layers to it. Our first step is always awareness. The more you can be self-aware, consciously aware, the more you know. I was speaking with a client yesterday, and they were sharing that how they were so unaware of what was going on internally. You know, until you wake up and start really paying attention to yourself, you're not aware of, you know, the conversations you have with yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, all of that. I'm saying all of that, listen, beloved, because life is not linear. It's more up and down, or I rather say it's cyclical. Because when you look to nature, look to the universe, everything's in a spiral pattern. And when you understand that, and you know that life is cyclical, you learn how to expand that cycle. Even though it's a cycle, you learn to expand the cycle, and you learn how to shift timelines in that cycle so that you are not, quote unquote, stuck. So I said that, you know, you may feel stuck and you feeling yourself going back to an old familiar place. But I want you to remember, you are not the same. I want you to hear this. You are not the same as you were the last time you spiraled out of control. Because we have the tendency to have the dialogue that here I go again. How did I get back here again? I'm right back in the same place. I'm stuck. But that's not true, beloved. You are changing. You are shifting. You are increasing and expanding every single day. One of the things that I notice in our community, Grand Rising, Lisa, thanks for joining us live, that having done this work as a minister, pastor, prophet, mentor, coach for over 40 years. Yes, I'm dating myself. All right. So having done this work for so many years, one of the things I find, especially as a mentor coach, and it comes to personal and spiritual development, I see this happens many times, so many times I can't even count. The minute people start breaking through and seeing change and seeing growth, the energy, old energy that becomes afraid from the messages in the subconscious mind to the ego mind wanting to keep you small and control you. I see this over and over and over again. As soon as breakthrough starts happening, as soon as they start transforming, something old kicks in and tells them to shut down. It tells them to stop. It tells them to quit. It tells them you could do this on your own. Okay, you learned a lot. I tell people all the time, the work that I do is not about a class. It's not about a course, even though I call it a training. I may call it a workshop. I may call it a seminar, whatever. It's not about a class. The work that I do is life-changing. It's transformative. Is supernatural. It is alive, and it is a work that is in progress, right? This is why we know we're on a lifelong journey of mastery. And we don't want to say that as a judgery, because the myth of arrival will keep you depressed, thinking that it's someplace, a destination that you have to arrive. And once you get there, everything is going to be okay. But what you're going to find out, for those of you that my high achievers, come on and talk back to me. Hey, Tyreek, thanks for joining us live. Trayvon, thanks for joining us live. You notice that every time you achieve a goal, we are wired like this from creation. We want to look to the next goal and the next, so that what you come to understand on a deep level, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's about the journey of evolving and becoming. Can somebody talk back to me today and say it's the journey? It's all about who you're becoming. That's what we have to pay attention to, more so than I reach the goal. Beloved, I want you to hear this. I want you celebrating who you are becoming, what's unfolding, what you are owning, what you are increasing and expanding in, that is the true reward. That's the true blessing. It's not about a destination, because every time you get there, because of the way we created, we're never satisfied. Y'all know this. How many of y'all talk back to me today, right? How many of y'all was just fiending for something, just wanted it, you desired it, you know you was going to get it, you set your intention, you did your mantras, your affirmations, you stayed focused, you got it, you enjoyed it for a little bit, and then it was on to the next thing. Because the way that we have been created, we are creators as well. Somebody talk back to me, say, I am a creator. Hey, Lucina, thanks for joining us live, right? I am a creator. So when you feel like you're stuck, I want you to know that that's an illusion, because there is no such thing as fixed reality. Talk back to me. I want you to put that in your notes. Come on, talk back to me. No such thing as a fixed reality, because we are living beings. We are always growing, always evolving. It is the ego mind, your shadow self persona, that always want to tell you you're stuck. Nothing's working. It's not happening. You can't get out because you're fixated on that one thing. We came into the beginning of the year talking about challenging that one thing, right? Challenging that one thing. You are not the same. I don't care if the circumstance look the same. I don't care if it feels familiar. You are not the same. So I remember preaching messages at New Life, and I would say things like, this time is not like any other time. And that's because you are not the same. Can somebody talk back to me and say, I'm not the same? Come on, I want you to believe that I'm not the same. I don't care if the same things appear to show up in your life. You are not the same. And I want you to give yourself credit. So as I've done this work for over 40 years, I see many people. And the more asleep people are, the quicker they are to go back when they start waking up. I've seen many people just scratch the surface. I mean, just scratch the surface, where they're becoming aware of themselves. They're becoming aware of their thoughts. They're coming of how much they're in battle with themselves. And as soon as they start waking up, they quit, want to go back. And then they realize, and then what happens, and this is no judgment, I'll hear from them months later and say, Dr. E, I'm just stuck. I'm miserable. I thought I was going to be able to, and I'm not. Beloved, I want you to hear this, and this is not a pitch. This is just the truth. You are not meant to be on this journey alone. This is why we all have leaders, pastors, coaches, mentors, right? Because if we can do it on our own, by ourselves, we would have done it a long time ago. I used to remember back in the early 2000s when I would go to like mastermind conferences, success conferences, and we would be there for like 3 days getting incredible information. And then we would be at the table sitting, and you will hear people talking back and forth. And this is just another trick. And they would say, well, hey, instead of, coming into this program, let's get together and form our own mastermind group and do it. I've seen so many of those things tank. Why? Because you need someone who have gone a few paces ahead of you, that know where all the traps and all the minefields are, so that they can guide you. That's why my tagline is, right, lighting the way to help you create a clear path forward on your journey. All right, so let me get back to this, right? So there is no such thing as being stuck. That's only an illusion. You're really not stuck. It may seem like you're stuck. I can hear you, somebody saying, Dr. E, I'm stuck. You're stuck because of your perception, because of what you're looking at, what you're focusing on. And y'all know my saying, wherever your attention goes, talk back to me, your energy, your creative life force starts flowing. This is the way we were created. This is why we can have dominion over everything in 3D. We have that dominion mandate because how we've been created, your power of divine imagination and divine focus is a creative power. Can y'all talk back to me? Wherever you focus your attention, your life force, your energy flows, you start creating or anchoring or solidifying that reality. And so because you're fixated on that thing that seems not to be moving and changing, you're keeping yourself stuck there. So what is the challenge, right? The challenge for us, and this is the sacred work that we do. The big challenge is, how do I stay in high 4D, 5D realms of consciousness while I'm living in 3D? So we talked about this many times, navigating dual dimensions, right? This is the challenge. How do you stay tapped in to your divine insight, imagination, the vision, the dream, while you're stuck sometimes, not even stuck, I don't even want to say stuck, while you're in the midst of challenging situations in 3D. You've got to know that. I say this all the time, to bear repeating. I never know who's showing up for the first time, so I have to repeat myself many times, right? It's where you're putting your focus and your attention that's anchoring your reality. But there's no such thing as a fixed reality. Listen, I want you to write this down because this is going to serve you well. Life is about the information you process and determining what it means to you. So reality, when people say face reality, come down to reality, get your head out the clouds, right? That was something that just limited us, restrained us, set limitations in our lives. Because people, I want you to hear this, when people have fears and insecurities in their life, follow me, they're very uncomfortable with your boldness, with your level of faith, what you believe. And so if you are one of those people that you heard people say this to you, get your head out the clouds. You need to come down to earth. That's not God. That's not how God works. All they were saying is that the level of faith that you're at and what you're believing, there's a lot of angelic activity, excuse me. And the level of faith that you are believing and operating in is making me uncomfortable. So in order for me, watch this, in order for me to stay in your atmosphere and in your environment, I need you to shift down from where you are and come to my level. That's why the sacred text says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? It's saying that the energy has to match. And if the energy is not matching, you won't be able to walk together. This is why I tell people several things, and y'all can write this down. When you just want to cut and run and give up and run away from people, I used to tell my folks, you can't go until it's okay to stay. Y'all not talking back to me. Because nothing is chasing you. Nothing is making you run. Nothing is making you leave. It's okay because, wow, you've already created a different timeline in your mind and your spirit. And then all you have to do is make your plan and just walk away and flow. You're not fighting anybody. You're not angry at anybody. You're not cursing anybody. You're not doing any of that because the energy, focus, and attention is on you. It's tapped into high 4D divine imagination where you are seeing your next reality. And then what's happening in 3D no longer has any power to imprison you and no longer has power to stagnate your life because you're on another timeline. That's the challenge, beloved. How do you stay focused in this high 4D, 5D realm of divine creation while all the chaos is happening in 3D? You have to know that's not the reality. This is the reality. Take a breath in right there because we have to land there. And exhale. That's why I say being stuck is an illusion. Because the moment you recognize what's happening in 3D is temporary, it's not real, this is real. But we've been trained to have faith in that, rather have faith in this, what you're seeing with divine insight, wisdom, intuition, discernment. We have faith in that. And can I say one more thing, beloved, because you have to settle this. I was speaking with a client and I reminded them that how back in the early or mid 2000s, I remember when Spirit spoke to me and said, you've got to take the saints' devil away from them. Because why? We were so focused on the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil, demons, witches, warlocks, that you could not see and have faith in yourself. Even to today, like I said, up and down my timeline, all you see people talking about is haters and devils and who's jealous and who don't like it and they're going to pass out when they see this. That should not be your focus. Train yourself today how to tap in. So if you're feeling stuck, here are a few tips to get back on track. Remember, there's no such thing as a fixed reality, because the moment you shift your focus and attention, the moment you can see something different, and A Course in Miracles says that is the basis of a miracle, a shift in perception. Anytime you can change the way you think about something, and you should practice this every day, particularly when you run into challenges, practice shifting your perspective. Reality is nothing but a bunch of information. That's all. This world is full of information. That's all reality is. But the good news is you get to choose how you interpret that information. You get to choose what that information means to you. And it's a process and a skill set that we develop in how to do that. And I remember, like I said, from the Course in Miracles says, anytime you can shift your perception, that is the basis of a miracle. I said that's the basic form of a miracle. Anytime you can see something differently. So we want to practice this. And one of the exercises that we do to help us with this is that we would sit in a room and we would get in a quiet meditative state and we would look around at objects in the room and decree that it doesn't mean anything. We literally have to train ourselves how to stop making something mean something, how to stop letting everything we see and encounter mean something. You have to become skilled at letting it go and not ascribing meaning to everything, not analyzing everything. Come on, my analytical people, my analysis paralysis overachiever thinkers. You think until you can't move, right? So listen, beloved, when we shift our perspective and we change the narrative, we reframe what we're seeing, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, that's the basis of a miracle. And we will practice sitting in a room looking at a chair without having to start talking about the chair in the mind and talking about how it looked and all of that. It doesn't mean anything. When you start training yourself like that, when you come back into 3D and you're moving and navigating, when you start encountering challenges now, all of a sudden it doesn't mean what you think it means, right? It doesn't mean anything. Why? Because you are the master of your soul, right? You're the one that's driving. You get to determine what means anything to you. So that's first. Remember, there's no such thing as a fixed reality. Two, you have the power to shift and change course at any given moment. Somebody talk back to me. I feel like hollering. I feel like getting up. If we was in church, I would tell them to hit that B3 and let me do a dance. When you recognize, beloved, when you recognize that you have the power to shift at any given moment, right? Grand Rising, Anthony and Wonderland, thanks for joining us live, right? When you recognize you have the power to shift at any given moment, you will recognize that reality doesn't have the hold and the grip on you that you think it has. I want to talk to some people who's ready to be empowered. Right? When I was in deliverance ministry strong, I told y'all this in the early 2000s when the Holy Spirit got a hold to me and said, hey, you gotta change your philosophy of deliverance. It's easy to cast out a devil, and we get trapped there. But then God began to say, no, you have to empower people to go on to destiny fulfillment, right? So number 2, you have the power to shift and change course at any moment. You decide, I'm not coming into agreement with this, right? I'm not going to agree with this. There's power in agreement. I'm not going to ascribe meaning to this. I don't care what they look like, what they said, what got back to you, what dirty trick they tried to play. It's all information. What will you do with the information? Can y'all type that and talk back to me? Ask yourself the question, what will I do with the information? Every day, information is coming at you. Over the years, what you have done, here's a tip, you have taken information and stored it in your bodies and your cells because of the way you reacted to it. So you have information being carried in the body and information coming at you every day. What will I do with the information? Beloved, you get to choose. That's all reality is information. And you get to choose how you interpret it and then use your privilege of agency to not allow anyone to judge how you choose to determine or interpret information and what it means to you. How many know people are really good at saying, well, if I were you, I wouldn't do such and such and such. Come on, talk back to me. Come on, how many people, you may have had somebody right now saying that to you. Well, if I were you, they are not you. And your way is not their way. And we could say it like how sacred text says it. My way is not your way. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My thoughts are my thoughts. And where you are and what you believe may be too low for me. It may not be enough for me. I'm not judging you. That's just not where I am. And beloved, your socialized self that wants to fit in, allow people to judge you all the time about how you think, how you feel, how you believe. But today, I only want you to convince yourself. Only convince yourself of what you believe. You know, as I mentor and teach my clients and my students, many of them pay me the compliment. And I say it's a compliment. Grand Rising, Marcus, thanks for joining us live. They have known me and traveled with me through the years from my days of evangelism, through my days of pastoral ministry, the prophetic and apostolic mantle, and now seeing where I am as a mentor, right? As a wise sage, a wise teacher. And they say, Dr. E, you are just in your zone. This is who you are. And that is true. I've traveled all those years, did all of that, gleaned all of that, right? Had all those experiences, processed all those challenges so that I can get here and say, let me light the way to help you create a clear path forward on your personal and spiritual development journey, beloved. And it is a blessed work. We call it sacred work. It is so joyful. It is so rewarding. Why? Because we're not fighting a devil, a demon. We understand that we have the power to shift how we see things, how we interpret things. So reality is nothing but information. And you get to decide, you get to choose how you will interpret that information. Number 3, I don't want you to ever forget, you are a powerful, creative being. And somebody talk back to me and say, I am a creator. Come on, let's create, let's create, let's create. I was sharing yesterday that how I feel a strong pivot coming. And what I'm doing, I feel a pivot coming. And I've been feeling this since last year. And so I talked about this, and I'm going to close with this. For you all that may be familiar, let me give you these last 2 points. Number 4, it's never too late. And number 5, you are enough. Write that down. It's never too late. You're a powerful, creative being. You have the ability to shift. There's no such thing as a fixed reality, and you are enough. So what I'm feeling and sensing, last year I started posting about this unique revolution, to join the unique revolution. And what I'm sensing in this uniqueness and gathering people who want to really honor their uniqueness It's like the movie The X-Men. Have any of you all ever watched The X-Men? I know y'all probably watched several of them. My late husband, bless his soul, Bishop C.W. Sanders, loved those kind of shows. And one day he just pulled me in and we watching The X-Men, right? And so y'all talk back to me if y'all know about The X-Men. And so what it is, it's about all these children, they call them mutants. And y'all help me if I tell it wrong, right? Because they mutated or they evolved or they were born with certain unique qualities, abilities, powers, if you will. And so they all gathered in the school, right? And they had a mentor, a teacher. Lucina says yes, yes. Marcus says yes, right? And so y'all help me if I'm telling it wrong. I don't remember the name of the doctor. I'm sure it probably wasn't Doctor Who. I get them crossed up. But anyway, they had a school where they began to train and teach these people how to focus in on their unique ability. I'm getting ready to holler, y'all, because I feel something powerful opening up for us. Where I've been feeling this since last year, that there's a calling now of you who are so unique. You don't know anybody that operates quite the way you. They haven't had the journey you've had. But I feel like we have to gather these people because you've been suppressing and oppressing your unique abilities. That gifting that you have that is so unique, so sensitive, so keen and sharp. Other people don't operate like that, so you felt like a misfit. Can y'all talk back to me? You've been spinning around trying to make yourself fit in a box, right? That just didn't work for you. And I think Marcus reminded me of someone that said, you know, it's not just about getting out of the box. I would say destroy the box, right? I would say that in post years ago. And so Marcus reminded me yesterday that there is no box. However, the person said it that you said, right? So I would just say, I'm not just out of the box, I've destroyed the box. So I'm not looking back at the box, right? You have stifled your uniqueness. You have forced yourself to fit in, and you keep seeking and searching and seeking and searching and trying to make yourself fit in and dumbing down your gifts and trying to speak in a way that would be pleasing to others. It's time to gather your uniqueness. It's time for a unique revolution, beloved. And I'm feeling a call and I'm feeling a pull to create this environment where you can be uniquely you, where you could tap into your giftings the way that God has given it to you, right? The way that you are. Grand Rising, Andrea, thanks for joining us live. Without having to dumb down. And we're not talking about arrogance, because first of all, you've got to know you. I'm closing with this. You've got to know you, love you, and embrace you in such a way that there's grace. You are so rooted and anchored into who you are and what you've been called to do. And you have so much peace about it that you're not in confusion. You're not trying to convince anybody. That is when your light starts to shine. Yeah. That's why they are called X-Men. I've been watching X-Men all of my life. All right, Andrea. Yes. And any movie where supernatural power is involved. I watch X-Men, Push, Twilight, Marvel, right? All of that is saying, Marcus said, 3 types of people: in the box, out of the box, and those who say there is no box. Joshua Mumpunga. Thank you so much for letting me give the right credit for that. Did you hear that? 3 types of people: those that are in a box, those who are out of the box, but those who say there is no box, right? Joshua Mumpunga. So, beloved, it's a reason. Hey, Links, thanks for joining us live. There is a reason, beloved, why you are drawn to that, Andrea. There's a reason why you know that that's how life supposed to work, because Professor X, thank you, Marcus. Andrea, they said Professor X. Yes, right? So that movie coming up, May 8th on Apple TV, called Dark Matter, it immediately piqued my attention. All of these things, beloved, I would tell people, pay attention to what you're drawn to. What kind of books do you read? What kind of movies do you watch? Because all of that, we came loaded with all of these things. Those were all breadcrumbs pointing you on the direction that you're supposed to go to. That's why I'm feeling this shift. I'm feeling this pivot that I have to create a community for the unique people. We have to ignite this unique revolution, because I know you're out there. I know your gifting is so unique. Tell people had you feeling like you were strange, like you were a misfit, like you spent most of your life thinking that you were off, something was wrong with you. But this is the hour and the season where we're being called into this unique revolution. And I feel the pivot. I feel it closer. It's like breathing on my neck, where God is saying, I want you to make this shift. And I want you to refine who you're working with. Refine, because there's so much more that I'm holding back, because I know I have to have a people whose mind is ready, right? And those of you that have traveled with me over the years, you are there because you have worked on your mindset. You have shifted your mindset, and you recognize that it's time to allow your true God self to emerge. So listen, beloved, if you've never had a one-on-one private conversation with me, there's the information right there scrolling down on the bottom. Do that. Schedule a one-on-one private. Let's have a chat and let's see. For those of you that ask me all the time, Dr. Ian, I thank every one of you all. You all know that's not my thing. I don't get on here to just ask you to sow seed, but if you feel led to be a blessing or any of that, these are all the ways that you can give. Take a screenshot of that, save it, and you can be a blessing anytime. That's not why I'm here. I am here, right? Not to get a donation or a blessing, but I'm here to pull you in to a unique community where you can be yourself, where you can start growing and developing. And don't be fooled. Like I say, I see it over and over again. I've seen it hundreds of times. The minute people start growing and get a breakthrough, they want to shift, shut down, quit, turn around. But remember, it is the disease of turning back, giving up, that kills people. And you're not stuck, beloved. You're not stuck. That is just an illusion. You have the ability to shift reality anytime you choose. You get to decide how you will interpret the information that's coming, all the stimulation that's coming. You determine, you decide what it means to you. And you know how you become the most powerful, beloved, when you get to a place, as we practice with those exercises, when none of it means anything. You can just let it go. And the more the things try to get your attention, because I used to say this back in the day when we used to pay attention to devils and demons, or whatever you want to call it, wherever you put your attention, those things are going to grow. And the more you focus on it, the more it's going to perform. I used to say it like that back in the day. You give a demon your attention, it's going to start performing, because it's feeding from your energy. The moment you start observing and giving it attention, it's feeding from your energy of doubt, your energy of fear, your energy of overwhelm, your energy of anxiety is feeding from that. So way back then, I was telling folks, stop paying attention to all of that. And when you stop paying attention, I guarantee you, it'll drop out of your life. It'll shift, it'll stop. This is why you don't have to run from anything. It's not okay to leave until it's okay to stay. And when you shift and work on yourself and raise your vibration, everything at a lower frequency has to shift or drop out of your life. One out the two. But you have to be in a place where it's all well. It's well with your soul. Well with your soul. I remember Vaughn Thomas wrote this song, and I heard it the other day. I was on a call with somebody, and it bubbled up. And listen, as you grow, as you shift your vibration, here's an old little gospel song for you. Vaughn Thomas wrote this song. I'm not bound anymore. I've been set free. Jesus paid for it on Calvary. This is my part. If you don't want to go, don't hinder me. I'm walking in liberty. I've been set free. This is to everything in 3D. If you don't want to go, don't hinder me. I'm walking in liberty. I've been set free. Anybody remember that from the Advance? We used to sing that. If you don't want to go into high 4D, 5D realms of conscious awareness, if you don't want to grow, if you don't want to elevate, if you don't want to expand, don't hinder me. I'm walking in liberty. Somebody talk back to me. I've been set free. I've been set free. Why? Because I came into divine conscious awareness where I know myself. I've embraced myself. I love myself. I'm no longer fighting, right? Dark Matter is going to be based off the book by Blake Crouch under the same name. Yes, I did see that. You read it, Brian? He said, outstanding novel. Okay. Brian, I love that song. Yes, Reese, love it. Yes. Oh, links, right? If you don't want to go, this is for everything attached to me, right? I don't have to get in their face. I never got in anybody's face and told them off. Listen, the more you start embracing you, the more you start seeing with that high 4D divine imagination, you know that you're there when you have peace, when you have calm, and you're not in a hurry, you're not anxious. But inwardly, I would say, with my actions, with my vibrations, I'm creating another dimension of reality for myself. And I've seen it many times, beloved. The closest to you, when the vibration no longer match, you just drift off. You all see that. You all have seen that. There are many people right now. You're not mad at them. You're not angry with them. You even love them. But y'all don't talk like you used to because you evolved to another level of conscious awareness that they're not yet there. So now you find that you don't have a lot of conversation. You still love them, but you don't have a lot of conversation, right? You don't hang out like you used to. That's because how can two walk together except they be agreed? It's about that vibrational frequency, beloved. And stop dumbing yourself down and lowering your vibration to be accepted. All right. Listen, talk back to me, lovelies. SSLers, I will see you tomorrow at 12 noon. We were off last Monday. We were enjoying that phenomena in the cosmos called the solar eclipse, right? And I've gotten so much feedback about what you all experienced during that, right? And so we'll be there in SSL tomorrow at 12 noon. All right, lovelies, have a blessed, wonderful, and amazing rest of your day. Love you guys so much. Bye now.